So, um, we will get started with this morning's power up. So, thank you everybody who's on here today. I would love to introduce today Elizabeth Gassos. She's with the City Up group in Dallas, Texas, and a very, very good friend of mine. I wanted her and I chose her and asked her to be on this power up with us this morning because she is amazing at building relationships, and a lot of her business comes from agent to agent referrals. And so, Elizabeth, it was like a crazy percentage. What is the percentage of your business that comes from referrals?
I mean, so this year it's 100. The last year, and I have closed 27 this year. So, and then last year, I think I closed like 33 and one was TikTok and the rest were like Sphere referral, past client, etc.
Okay, so we'll kind of start with just like a little bit of the basic stuff. So, like, how long have you been in the business?
Yeah, so I was licensed in 2016. So I have started my 9th year in real estate, which is wild. And I joined the team that I'm on really shortly after, like October 2016, which we've gone through some facelifts. So now we're the City Up group, but it's been the same team the whole time. We were the Ben Kinney team for the longest time, and we just rebranded. So we joined Ben's organization in 2017. That is, of course, now Place in 2020, which you guys know. And I started off as my operator's showing agent. So back in 2016, 2017, and part of 2018, I was mostly a full-time showing agent. And then once I learned like how to do the job, then I felt more comfortable like reaching out to my sphere and all that. And so slowly I started to get my own business.
Perfect. And so, kind of taking a step back, just because we actually have a lot of new agents on here,
Mhm.
because it just didn't happen overnight when you went from being a showing assistant to almost 100% agent to agent referrals.
Right.
What was the beginning? Can you kind of give us a little bit
Yeah.
of the beginning for you?
So we all have the same like baseline of education, right? We all know the pie model, and you do this and you do this and you do this. I'm a very stubborn person of like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Hmm.
If I don't like what I'm doing, I'm not going to be good at it because I don't like it. And so I would do the open houses, and I would do calling expireds, and I would do the cold calling and all the things that you're told to do. And I was just having a bad time. Like I just didn't enjoy it. But
Hmm.
thankfully, I have lived in Dallas for a long time, since I was 12 years old, and I have a big network here. And so the first people that I closed that were from my sphere reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, we want to buy a house. Can you help us?" I was like, "Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, this is awesome." And then, it was from like past jobs or like clubs I was a part of. And so I was like, well, let me see if I can get more business from these people. So what I started to do was just put together like I worked at the Apple store in college. And like it's a whole little cult unto itself, but I like some of my best friends are from there. So I was like, how can I reconnect with these people that already know, like, and trust me? They now just have to see me as a real estate agent. And I just put together like happy hours for them. It was like Buffalo Wild Wings, like nothing crazy. I didn't pay for anything. I was like, hey, let's all get together like the old days, 50-cent wing night on Thursdays, like we used to do, 10 years ago. Let's go out. And a bunch of people would come and we'd reconnect, re-engage on social media. And then when it was time for them to make real estate moves, now they thought of me. So it was just like a slow burn of like re-engaging with people in my life and just having them see me as a real estate agent. But that came like, I wasn't even like planned. I was like, oh, like, let me do this. Let me do this. I was still doing all the pie pieces. And I joined KWYP, which is how I know Destiny, which is the Keller Williams Young Professionals, and just really enjoyed that group of people. So I just naturally started to go to like conferences and different events that were being hosted all around the country, just to like with that group. And then I started getting my very first agent referral ever was from that group. And it was a $930,000 listing. And that was back in 2020. So I was like, and it was someone I didn't know. Like she knew me. She was like a quiet lurker on social media. You know, those that like don't say anything, but they're there reading everything you do. And she's like, hey, like, yeah, we have this referral night. And, I've been watching you on social media and I think you'd be able to help us. I was like, hell yeah. So I had no idea that agent referrals were something that I could even do. I just enjoyed those events and like thankfully presented myself well enough to where people started sending me business. And then it gets addicting. You're like, how can I get more of this business where people just call you and give you business instead of you having to call like 100 people on Mojo?
Yeah, and so you're still doing while a lot of your business is this agent to agent referrals. You're still doing the place challenges, right?
Oh yeah. It all works in conjunction with itself. Yeah.
So what are you doing like with the place challenges? Are you calling like agents or who are you calling when you're focusing on agent to agent referrals?
It's definitely a mix. So it's actually 50% agent referrals and 50% everyone else. So I don't really put an emphasis on one side or the other as far as my time goes. But like when we did the first challenge in March, I think, open houses, I was like, nope, I'm not doing it because I told you guys before, I don't like open houses. And while they work, like I've gotten business from them, not saying that they don't work. They just, to me, I don't enjoy them. So therefore I don't do well at them. I enjoy this, and so therefore I do really well at this. And then the second challenge hit, it was the 5,000 contacts or 50 open houses. I was like, okay, or dials, it was 5,000 dials. It was also a thing I don't like to do. I don't like to talk on the phone. But I was like, okay, this I can at least attempt. I can at least try to do this. But I'm more of like a flittering about person, social media person. So I do my contacts. I do track them. I don't have my iPad next to me. I literally have my iPad, and my goal right now for Q4 is 1,000 contacts. And I literally just write down everybody I talk to on a list that's numbered
Mhm.
1 through 1,000. And so I have those kind of goals on my own. And so for the 5,000 dials challenge, what was hard for me is that I don't do a lot of my business over the phone. So I was like, let me just do 1,000 dial day. And guess what? It worked. It was great. I have a listing, and I hooked up an investor from it, got paid a $6,000 finder's fee for that within like the close in 10 days of me sending it to her. So it's like, sweet, that worked. Like if you don't have a giant sphere, if you don't like to be, your camera on social, face on social media, that freaking worked. And I got like a bunch of nurtures from it. So that, I mean, I'm not saying things don't work or things don't work for me. They do, but it was also 6 hours sitting at my desk and me like going crazy a little bit because I just don't like sitting still.
Mhm.
So I didn't really want to do it again, but then I couldn't do the 5,000 dials. That being said, though, I'm the top producer on my team. I close the most on my team in Q3. Like, like I do business, right? So like, it's not that because I failed the challenge, I didn't get any business. It's just, that's just not the way I communicate best. Therefore, it doesn't work as well for me. So I'm actually really excited about this challenge. Originally, I wasn't going to sign up. I was like, I obviously can't do 5,000 dials. I'm also gone for like the holidays and stuff. And I hate open houses, so I guess I'm not doing this one. And then Ben changed it to where you can do 2 results and not the activities. And so I was like, all right, results I can do, because then I can just choose however I want to go about it. So 50 new contacts, like totally doing that. Can't be agents because I have to put them on market reports, which is like that would have been so easy. So it is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but not really. I'm like, I have, the holidays are an easy time to connect with people. I'm thinking for Halloween that I might go do some drop-offs in my neighborhood and little QR code saying sign up and I'll give you a little prize, whatever. Like there's lots of ways to do it where you can do that really easily. And then I also think I did 10 agreements. So again, I'm just going to call people and say, I'm in a contest. If you want to do business with me in 2025, let's sign an agreement now so I can win
Mhm.
the contest, right? It's not that hard, but it
Yeah.
like, um, which I'm annoyed also because I signed 2 listings last week with that in mind. I was like, hey, the weather's nice. Can I photograph your house this month? I know you're not going on the market till winter. Can I get this agreement signed so I can go photograph the exterior right now? And I got 2 listing agreements signed that way. They're not going live yet, but now I'm like, dang it, I wish I would have waited.
That's a
Like
great
literally like 3
strategy.
days.
I like that strategy. So like thinking of like okay, especially winter up here in the
Yeah,
Midwest, a lot of us we're getting snow on the ground and everything dies. Um and that's actually I like that strategy.
yeah.
All right, well
That's
kind
how
of
networking, right? Like,
yeah, I like that. So you've talked about a little bit about strategies of like going to conferences. Can you dive into some more strategies of work best for you to expand your network
yeah.
beyond local?
Yeah. One, you cannot wing it. You can't just show up and expect it to be successful. You have to have a plan. If you've never been to a conference before, I would say go to one first, see like how your energy levels are, see like how easy it is for you to connect with people, see what other people are doing. Like I would definitely do that first. But then on conference number two, then you can make a plan. One is have a goal. Do you have a goal of things you want to learn? That's separate. This is a networking goal. How many people am I going to add to my database? Or you can have, I like to have the goal of meeting agents in my feeder cities. So I'm in Dallas. My feeder cities are like, there's like a bunch in California, Florida, Chicago, New York. Like that's where I want to meet agents. So if
Where can we find those feeder? We were talking about this. Where can we find those feeder cities?
U-Haul is probably the easiest, but obviously you can Google it. Even honestly, ChatGPT might tell you as well. But
Oh,
the
that's a
U-Haul is
good one.
probably the most well-known because they have the data of like a little bit faster than like census data of who's moving where. Um, but yeah, that's just my priorities normally to meet agents from those areas. And then it's my priorities shifted to where I'm like, okay, I'm not just going to go to any conference. I'm going to go to conferences in California, in Florida, like in the places where I probably will be in the minority of agents from Dallas. So I have less competition as well. So that's one strategy is where are you going to go? Like, go to the big ones. If your goal is to meet a lot of people, right? That's where a lot of people will be. But my goal last year was to meet California agents. So I went to events in California and guess what? I have a $3 million buyer, which my average price point is 450. And I'm like, ooh, this is nice. Hopefully they close this year. Fingers crossed, send me good vibes. But that was from going to a conference that had 50 people there. The speaker I talked to, got her information. I really liked what she had to say. She's the one that sent me the referral. So like figure out where you want to go and what your goals are. And then next would be deepening those relationships. So I wouldn't go wide. Don't add 500 people to your database and expect them to be on an email drip and send you business. I would have 2 to 3 people in every market that you can work on relationships with. And eventually you're going to have your favorites, but like, talk to a couple because you just never know who you ended up, will drive with. And what I like to do is I'm a planner and I know a lot of people aren't. So being the planner opens up a lot of doors. What I like to do is let's say it's a 5-day conference or 3-day conference, whatever. And I know I have dinner 3 of those days. I will make reservations a month in advance at the restaurants nearby. You know how many, if you guys have been to conferences, it's like, where are we going to go eat? Wait time's an hour, catch the Uber here. If I say, hey, I have a reservation for 6 at Morton's Steakhouse, who would like to come with me? Easy peasy way to meet new people and deepen relationships. You can also text people, hey, I wanted to offer this to you first. I have this reservation with this many spots. Would you like to join me? Like we've done that. Destiny and I have done that a bunch of times. And I think one time where were we? It was in California where we were like, hey, Ben, come to dinner with us. And he's
Mhm.
just like, okay, don't tell anyone I'm coming to dinner with you. I said no to a bunch of other people to go with you guys. And like 6 of us had dinner with Ben that day. I've been
Mhm.
invited to dinner with Jeff Yarborough, but that was my goal once. I don't know if you know him. He's an agent, a place agent in Beverly Hills. I want to know agents in California. I want to know agents in Beverly Hills. And I just told everybody, my goal is to meet Jeff Yarborough. And guess what? Friend Haley was like, I'm at a dinner and my operator's having dinner with Jeff. There is one spot. Get your butt over here. And I Ubered my little butt over there and had a very expensive dinner I didn't have to pay for with the agent that I was hoping. But I spoke it out loud. Everyone knew I want to meet Jeff Yarborough. So because that's a connection that I wanted, that place, Beverly Hills. So that's just a couple things I do, right? And that's not all things I do all at once. Those are all like different things. I have like, here's what my goals are. I also recommend being a little bit memorable, especially when you're starting out and giving out information. Have a strategy of how you're going to give out your information and how you're going to take in information. I should have, I think I'll stand up and go get some examples in a minute because I have some nearby. But like this year, this is what I'm giving out. It's a coaster and it's silly. It's me on a dinosaur. It's kind of an inside joke. I like dinosaurs. And I made it in ChatGPT and Canva. And instead of a business card, I give people this. Because guess what? People keep this and they'll send me pictures of it. I've also given out car fresheners, car air fresheners. And people will send me pictures of it in their car. There we go, stickers. I'm a big sticker gal. So anytime I send you mail, which is another thing, I'll talk on mail in a minute. Anytime I send you mail, you get like random funny stickers from me. They don't have to be branded. I get them from Temu. They're not expensive. But I do something to be memorable. And then that builds. So people know I like dinosaurs. People know I like Harry Potter. People know I like The Sims, like nerdy stuff. I'm that nerdy realtor on Instagram. And so now people send me memes and GIFs and reels and videos of things that I like remind them of me. So guess who's going to be top of mind if they have an agent in Dallas? It doesn't mean an agent who, I mean, you know, they might not have someone who likes dinosaurs. That doesn't matter to me, but like, I want to be top of mind so they think of me and then associate me with Dallas. And then the opportunity arises. A lot of my referrals are not direct. It'll be like, hey, an agent in my office needs someone in Dallas. So it's like a roundabout referral. So I get a ton of those. So it's staying top of mind. And this takes time to prepare though. You have to design it, order it, get it delivered, have it ready to go. So I will always start about 2 to 3 months before a big conference on what my things I'm going to give away are going to be. So normally I have like a 3-month plan. Because another thing I do is afterwards, after the event, all the information I've collected, which I normally do through like social media or Popple, and I just have a good memory. So I probably need to have a better system, but anyone that I talk to, I literally on a piece of paper write their names down. It's normally about 100 people that I can remember talking to, and then all of them get something from me. Sometimes I pre-design something like a postcard, and it'll just be like, you know, let's say Built How comes back. It'll say like Built How 2025. And I'll have like spots for pictures. And then the minute my butt gets back home, I put in 5 pictures, send it to the printer, and then those get mailed out to everybody that I met. That's an easy one because it doesn't take a lot of time. But if it's a small event, like 50 people or less, everyone gets a handwritten note from me with something in there, something fun, different than what I gave out when I was there, to remember me. But everyone gets mail from me. Like for their birthday, they get mail. Anytime I see them in person, they get mail. Anytime they send a referral or like roundabout referral, they get mail. And that's part of my days. Normally Mondays is the day that I'll sit down and like write any thank you notes from the week, any birthdays that I need to send out. Those all get done all the time. So like, that's part of what I do to get all my agent referral business.
So kind of taking a little bit of a step back. So like say we have like, because we have a couple brand new agents on here. So say like going to a conference isn't really an option right now. What is something that like somebody can do, let's say like, especially during this challenge,
Yeah.
of kind of talking to agents and like even within the place system. Because what I think is really awesome is like there's so many place agents around the country.
Yeah.
And like I just got a referral from a place agent in Florida. And I think we could utilize that place referrals within Brevity, but also like how can we build a network within place?
Yeah. So if you're relying a lot on virtual, right? You can't physically go places. For number one, attend things. So obviously the partner call is great, but there's 1,000 people on there. Attend any smaller class that you can, where you can see more agents. Then be on camera. If you're not on camera, I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember you. Honestly, I will remember you as someone who's not on camera. And that tells me, and like, not judgment on anyone that's not on camera right now. I can't see you. Like, I can only see the camera people right now. I have 6 of you on my screen, and I can see all of you, and I will remember you guys, right? Like, because I can see you. So one, you have to like have people know who you are, and that's going to be being presentable, being on camera, participating. So anytime someone's in a call like this and they're like, what do you guys think? Raise your hand, participate, write in the chat. You have to you rise up from everyone around you. That would be the easiest. Show up well. Like, that's step one. Next would be connect with agents who have a similar something to you. One, similar goals. That's an easy one. You know, if you're wanting to reach 12 transactions or 24 transactions, or you want to get great at open houses, or you want to get great at expireds, etc., go to our Facebook page and say, hey, I'm looking to connect and create an accountability group with 5 other agents who want to get better at X. There you go. We just made 6 more, 5 more connections, and it doesn't have to be a group of 30. You can start off slow, and get to know those people more. I don't know if you guys did the challenge last time, the $5,000 challenge. I created a group text, like a text group, or a Facebook Messenger group. And I was like, hey, if you want some accountability around this, here's a Facebook chat messenger chat group that you can be a part of. And several days I post in there just like, hey, how's everyone doing? Here's how many contacts I made. And even though I was not successful in my endeavor, other people were, and they were also being like, how do you guys do this? How do you do this? Like, and everyone was talking to each other there. And people obviously get to know me more because I'm the one that puts it together and talks in there all the time. But I also got to know a bunch of other agents who I had never met before, because they were participating in that group. There's a lot of lurkers in that group. I'm not going to remember them. It's the people that comment, that like other people's comments, that are actively participating, that I start to notice more now. And it builds on itself. So once we actually are able to be in person or are on another call together, you're like, oh, hey, I remember you. Add them on Facebook, add them on Instagram, start interacting with them on those platforms. Interaction is huge. Like, comment, share their stuff. That's a great way to connect with people more. Also, tag people that you know. Like, anytime I see anything South Dakota, it's like I tag Destiny, right? I'm like, hey, like, and I try not to tag them if there's like 150 other people already tagged, right? Like, that's like a waste of her time sometimes. But if not, I'm like, okay, there's not that many, I'll post on there. And then if it's a really good one, if it's one that I know personally, I'll normally connect 2 agents together and be like, I just did this with someone in Wisconsin. He was looking for an agent in Ohio, in Cleveland. And I saw his post. I did not comment on his post. I messaged him and Amanda, I forget how to say her last name, Benoit, I don't know, from the Amanda Pullman team. I don't even remember who the agent was I connected with it, but someone from the Amanda Pullman team was like, hey, I saw you posted that you needed an agent in Cleveland. I wanted to personally vouch for so-and-so. She sent me a referral in the past and it's been great. Highly recommend working with her. Ball's in their court. About a week later, Josh messaged me and was like, hey, my client interviewed 3 agents and they chose to work with the Amanda Pullman team. Thanks for the connection, right? Like, it took me 2 seconds to connect them together, but that made the difference to make that person rise because they had the connection from me. And now I've become a person where if someone's like, hey, do you have an agent here? I'm like, absolutely, here you go. Right now, one of my lenders actually just sent me a message and was like, hey, do you know anyone in Essex, New Jersey? And I Google, see that is. I'm like, oh, my friend Harjot lives there. I text Harjot before this call. Hey, do you work Essex, New Jersey? She's like, absolutely, I do. I'm like, I'm going to call you in 30 minutes and connect her to my lender. So that's, there's lots of small ways that don't cost a lot of money, don't take a lot of time, you just have to be intentional about it.
Yeah. No, awesome. Yeah, because it's just kind of creating those different relationships.
Yeah.
All right. Is anybody have any questions? You guys can raise your hand in the chat too. Darcy?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of opportunity through place in growing your downline. Are you utilizing some of these calls to also open doors of conversation about place with?
Sort of. I'm really bad at that. I know I need to be more intentional about it because, of course, the opportunity is there. If I see it come up like a friend of mine is looking for a team, I might, of course, introduce her. I know, but you talked to Alex too. It wasn't just me.
It was you. It was you.
I was like, yeah, Destiny kind of joined because she saw me. My friend Francis just joined Jeff Yarborough's team, actually. And so there's connections that I make. I probably could be more intentional about it. I'm really bad at that at my brokerage downline as well. So it's more like this job is really hard, right? And so I'm like, you gotta have it like a fire within you to really want to be in real estate. So it's hard for me to like want to convince people. But
I
that's
think
like
she's downplaying that
that's
because
like
I think
it's not
she's
intentional.
yeah,
It's not
she's
like a
not
focus.
intentionally doing it, but she talks about place, how she loves place. And like I joined place and she was a very large reason
But
I joined
here's what
place.
I'll say I do. So I'm always available to the recruiting team. So it might
Mhm.
not benefit me directly necessarily because I'm not the one bringing people in, but Anne and Holly, like a bunch of people on like that recruiting team, if they have an team that they're wanting to recruit that has high producers, sometimes that high producer wants to talk to another high producer on a team. And I'm like, absolutely anytime. So I've talked to a bunch of people just on Zoom and on calls that just have questions. I'm always available. And then again, if there's an opportunity that arises, I'm on their mind. So like there was a built how that was in Palm Springs a couple years ago. They asked me to MC it. And heck yeah, I want to be in a room full of 200 place agents for the whole day, and they know who I am. I was also on a like online panel that they asked me to be on last year, and at Built How there was flyers for the call, and it had my face on it on every single chair, 1,600 chairs with my face on it. I was like, yes, but I would have never had that opportunity had I not helped them with their recruiting efforts and like been available to people when they needed me. So the
Mhm.
opportunities start stacking and it becomes like exponential.
Yeah, great question, Darcy. Any other questions for Elizabeth today? And then I actually was gonna ask anybody else, is anybody here signed up for the place challenge that they came out with last week? I whoever wants to, I just want to kind of figure out what you guys signed up for. Whoever wants to go first, introduce yourself, what you signed up for, and what you're excited about.
So I am the director of operations for the Big Life team. So and I um I had my first child in June, and therefore I was not a part of the original challenge. And so it was just eating me up inside that Ben was like, oh, there was only 22 pounds. Like if I wasn't literally giving birth and trying to raise my first child in the first few months, I would have been on there. So I was actually really grateful that they did another one so that I have a chance to participate. So I signed up for the operators challenge, mostly reviews.
Awesome. All right, Carly. Is she gonna mute herself? New agents, she's still figuring out technology.
Yep. I signed up for everything and I'm just excited to put myself out there.
Yes, she's in launch too. So give everybody Carly's a new agent on my team. So she just started last week and she is jumping in. Anybody else sign up for the place challenge? Amy, what are you committing to?
How to unmute. Oh my gosh, I can't figure out how to unmute on my phone. I signed up for 5,000 dials, which I did it last time and I failed, but I did 1,000 dials for the last one. So this time I feel like I know what I am signed up for and I'm set up for a little bit more success. So I kind of divided it out. Like, let's say, holy smokes, my phone won't stop ringing. Let's say I only want to call 4 days a week, right? That's like, I don't know what it is, 115, 118 calls a day, which is like, okay, that's actually super doable. So I'm doing 5,000 dials, and the two outcomes I picked were 50 ads and 10 contracts. So that feels like that's just going to happen. So I'm pretty stoked about it. Actually, I did my first day yesterday and I was like, oh yeah, I got this, no problem. So I'm pretty jazzed about it.
Perfect. Yeah, there's actually one thing I will give a shout out to Elizabeth for. I actually have printed out. I don't, do you have yours, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I'm not at my desk right now. I'm at home, but it is at my desk. Yeah.
Yeah, so she had these calendars that she did last time, and I really enjoyed it and liked it. So it's like she color coats like when her planned days off are, and so it helps her keep on schedule because she's a planner. And I one day it'll rub off on me.
Yeah.
A few of the tactics have at
And then you
least.
know
So
exactly how behind you are every day, and it like puts you back into it. You're like, you don't wake up, you're like, shit, I'm 1,000 behind. You're like, okay, I'm 75 behind.
I thought about doing something like I have this wall behind my computer that there's nothing on it. And I'm like, what should I put up here that's big? So I was like, do I either stick a post-it note or put all the post-it notes up and pull them down? So that's kind of what I was thinking about, but maybe I
the
should do
post-it
something.
note would be
Sometimes
good.
that visual progress is like, it's like the thermometer.
Or
Remember
it
that
helps
from
you
like
get back on track.
elementary school? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Is there any like takeaways or anything that you guys are going to potentially implement into your business for agent to agent referrals? Or does anybody do a lot of agent to agent referrals right now?
I've
We do
done
it. We
so
do
much
it.
more
Oh,
since
go
being
for
with
it.
Place. Oh, sorry. I totally interrupted. I used to do like 1 or 2 a year, and I think I probably have like 5 or 10 in and out right now happening agent to agent referrals. So that has been a huge perk of being with Place, honestly.
Oh, and
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
fantastic.
even talk about the ones you send out. That's just candy,
Yeah.
like sugar on top. So
Yeah. Darcy, you were going to say something?
Yeah, we do a ton of referrals for northern Minnesota for the Duluth area. And then we've really been strategic about it for probably the last like 7 years. I think we have, I don't know how many thousands of people in it, agents in a database that we routinely have dripped on over the years. And it's sometimes better than others. And so I'm trying to be a lot more intentional and purposeful with it now. And like if I actually engage in the goal is always meaningful conversations, right? As Ryan Hansen would say. It's not just a conversation about real estate. If you're not having a meaningful relationship and really connecting with that person on a deep level, it's not necessarily going to count in their day, right? You gotta touch them here. So go for the meaningful relationships. And like really like being more mindful of like this is not just referrals, and trying to not just like it's also growing place. And like Ben said one time, like we're really selfish if we're not sharing place with as many people as we can, right? Because this is an organization that literally changes the way you think and the way you walk and the way you talk and the way we show up for the people that we love. So I've tried to like get in the habit of after I have a meaningful conversation, follow it up with a partner call and just say, hey, I was on this training last week and you can get a YouTube link for them. And just thought of you, and I know you're growth minded, like I am, and just wanted to share this with you today. So
adding value is huge. That's the thing I didn't
right.
even touch on. Yeah, just add value.
Yeah, Carly, kind of going off of what Darcy was just saying, what you were doing, so she's in the middle of launch right now, and she was doing what she needs to do for launch. What did you get told this last week while you were doing your launch items?
We got told a lot. I don't.
when you were when you were doing your previews?
Oh, to listen to the buyer
Well, no, when you
consultation.
were like you were telling me that like nobody else, like this agent was like surprised that you were even doing anything.
Oh, that I was out previewing homes and getting to know the market.
Yeah,
She
like
says
these.
that like a lot of agents that have been in the business for 10, 15 years forget, or not even forget, they just don't think they need to do it anymore. And then they don't know the market because they're not out there.
Yeah, it's just like Carly's showing up every day. So it's kind of a shout out to her for actually following launch.
I was just gonna say we get a lot of grief for that too, up in our neck of the woods, and people kind of trying to make our new agents not feel so great. And so sometimes you can take that on or whatever. Macy had a great idea of telling the agents to sign up a buyer's rep under themselves, and you know that they're going to look for themselves so that it's, you know, kind of legit or whatever. So yeah, don't let them steal your thunder.
Uh, I think for her, I think she was going to new construction. It was more of a compliment. They were like surprised that somebody was actually doing it. So, um, but anyway, thank you guys so much for being here today again. Amy will be taking over tomorrow, or sorry, next
Next week.
Wednesday. Not tomorrow, because I will be actually at a real conference. And actually, we'll be having a dinner with hopefully a new place team. Really excited for that opportunity. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, always for your time and your energy and sharing your knowledge with us today. This will also be on YouTube if you guys want to share. We created a YouTube channel for all of this. Thank you again for your time today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Great job, guys.